What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Godly Potential YouTube channel. Back at you with another video. In this video, let's talk about how you can take yourself out of a difficult time in your life, a difficult mindset, a shitty headspace, a muddy, just filthy feeling energy. So the reason why I'm talking about this is because I was on a phone call with a good friend of mine, and he was essentially going through all these different emotions about just stuff that's he's dealing with currently. And so what I shared with him was what I will be sharing with you guys here today. Quickly, back when I had just got out of the military, and I took on a whole different identity, essentially, because I was no longer doing this job that I had been doing for years. No longer located in this place. I was back in my mom's house. I was just directionless and like really just confused. And so essentially what happened was I got on a call, I got on a consultation with my spiritual advisor, and I told him my issues, and essentially what he relayed to me was that the previous philosophy by which I was living had essentially run its course. And so in order for me to get out of this frequency, out of this funk, out of this headspace, I needed to develop a superior philosophy by which I live my life. And so he recommended that I read Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching. And so that's what I did. And so throughout the course of weeks and months, I just consumed the Tao Te Ching every day. That's what I read, the Tao Te Ching. I would just flip through, read a chapter that spoke to me that day, and I would really try to sit with it. I would go to the park, just read that, and I would consume that. And so essentially, I started to take on that philosophy as my own and view the world through the lens of that philosophy. And so that's essentially what I want to invite you guys to do here today. That's essentially what I told my buddy on the phone. I was like, listen, you're feeling this way and you can't really come up with a solution because the tools that you have currently within your tool belt aren't effective on this problem. Okay? It's like you have a screwdriver trying to unscrew a nail. You know, it's not gonna be effective. So I essentially said, look, you need to develop a superior philosophy. You need to take on a superior philosophy by which you can view the world from. And so then that will give you new tools to solve different problems because you're looking from a different lens, a different vibration, a higher vibration, ultimately. And so what I told to him was, I recommend you either go into one of three things. It's all based on what you want. Spirituality, philosophy. I don't mean to flip you guys off. Let's start it over. All right, so spirituality, philosophy, or religion. Go into one of those three. Because those three aren't really, those three are more abstract. Those three are more otherworldly. Those three are more expansive, if you will. Because I told him, look, whenever I'm going through it and I'm feeling like shit, and this is going on for days on end, the only thing that gets me out of that funk, it isn't working out, it isn't hanging out with friends like that, because once I go back to being by myself, it's right back. It's not really isolating. It's not really doing all these things. The only thing that takes me out of this funk is consuming spiritual content, reading spiritual data, like taking in spiritual data, because it's as if there's a void, and then whenever I consume the spiritual content, it fills that void. Or it's as if that problem that I was dealing with, it's not really a problem that I can solve with the level of awareness and consciousness that I presently have. And the if you ask me, the main way in which you can expand your consciousness and your awareness is by consuming spiritual or highly conscious information. And so I told him that's what I do every time. That's the only thing that takes me out of the funk. It's consuming spiritual content, whether it's reading a spiritual book or it could be philosophy as well. I bounce between the two, but it's mainly spiritual stuff. Either listen to a spiritual speaker or, like I said, reading a spiritual book. And so I was like, I invite you to do the same, because this will give you a superior philosophy by which you can view the world. The lens that you're putting in front of that camera will be of a higher definition, if you will. It will give you more tools to solve these issues that you're currently dealing with. And so I would like to invite you all to do the same. So get into that philosophy, get into that stoicism, get into that spirituality, get into that religion, whatever that resonates with you the most. I would advise you to get into it, because you will notice it will nourish your soul, because based on my experience, that is what needs nourishment. It is the soul. Okay, you need to grow in that aspect. So if you are feeling down, you're feeling in a funk, you are feeling less than favorable, develop a superior philosophy by which you can live your life, whether that be philosophy, stoicism, religion, spirituality. You choose whatever resonates with you. Consume it. Consume it all. Is there something that you bought a book but you have yet to read it? You downloaded this Kindle book, but you have yet to read it. It was years ago, months ago, whatever. I would suggest now is time to do that, because you will take on a higher frequency, a different vibration that will give you different tools to view, that will give you a different lens to view the world through, and ultimately your problems from. And ultimately, you will recognize that whenever you have those problems at this frequency and you raise to this one, those problems essentially drop off once you rise up. Those problems no longer exist. So, I hope that this was helpful. Develop a superior philosophy by which you can live your life. Watch it help. Watch it work. Spirituality, religion, philosophy. Choose one, dive into it, take on that philosophy. That's all I got. Peace.